Hey guys, and welcome to AdeptAngling with Gio. Today I'm going to show you a few different things that I don't usually do. Today we're going to actually talk about what we're going to do, and I'm going to explain what I'm looking at, and I'm explaining when I'm using a certain bait, I'm going to tell you why I'm using it. Today, my color selections are green. I have a Fire Tiger tube on, and a chartreuse and green crankbait on. It's been dark all day, guys. It's been cloudy. It's been cold. We're going to try to get some bass today. Alright guys, welcome to the show, and welcome to October. Alright guys, while I'm using Fire Tiger today, I'm using Fire Tiger today because, well, it's been cloudy all day, it's been cold, so the water's been dark. Usually in the fall the water level is a little lower than anything else. It's a good way to start off the day, guys. This is a black crappie. It's a small one, but you know, a fish is a fish, guys. This is a nice fish to start it off. We're fishing the Chicago River today. You might say as always, but you know, what are you going to do? It's my local fishery. But the weird thing about the Chicago River is the Chicago River isn't wide. Right? It only has a few certain areas where it's wide. It's not the same level as Chicago. It's a lot lower. There's always going to be a hill when you come down to the river. The whole river is made out of sheetrock, so you have steep drop-offs almost every 10 feet, and I mean it's a phenomenal place to fish. Why it does so good in the winter? It's a lot warmer than any other body of water in the winter, so it doesn't freeze, and with the steep drop-offs, that's good because I personally believe, on a personal level, from my experience, I do not believe fish travel that far. Alright? I mean, of course you're going to have your stragglers, you're going to have, you know, salmon that do travel far, but in rivers specifically, bass, things like that, I don't believe travel that far. I've read studies that prove this, but for me personally, you know, with the steep drop-off right here, with the warm water discharge, bass don't have to go anywhere. The food's going to keep replenishing, more food daily. The fish can just sit here and they don't ever have to move. So there's always fish here, there's always going to be fish here, you know, and you just have to figure out the right tactic. Every bass thinks differently, you know. Every bass has a mind of its own, so what works on one bass isn't going to work on another one, you know what I'm saying? So you just got to keep trying different tactics, keep doing different things. The more time you spend on the water, the better fisherman you're going to become. I mean, you're going to become a phenomenal fisherman. It doesn't matter if a guy is 60 years old and you're only 26. As long as you spent more time on the water than him, you'll have more experience. You could be considered the better fisherman. Age doesn't matter in this game. Fishing is a phenomenal sport for every age. Alright guys, getting ready to make the first cast in this area. And again, I'm fishing more shallow today because in the fall the fish tend to move shallow as they do in the spring, and it just makes for better fishing, guys. I'm excited about the fall. If you haven't noticed already, I'm really excited. And now guys, when I'm retrieving this, I don't have any special retrieve, anything like that. I think an angler just determines more of a feel. I feel the bottom more. I feel like I can bump a rock, bump brush, and I can literally tell what I'm on. And that'll make you a better fisherman all the way. Just more time on the water is going to make you a better fisherman. A lot of shad, a lot of fish activity today. I'll get it out though, I promise I'll get it out. Alright guys, now, as I was saying about the technique, I'll show you a few basic techniques that are in the book, if you know what I'm saying. But you can use those and just make a variety of different techniques for yourself. Alright, now I'm using a tube jig, so we're going to go based on a tube jig. How would you bring it in? Alright, now there's a variety of hop techniques. When the tube jig first came out, the technique was, the biggest technique for the tube jig when it first came out was this. Alright, I cast it out, it's sitting on the bottom. I'm dragging, alright? I reel in my slack, I drag. That was the first technique for the tube jig, and it just worked phenomenally. But after that, as every bass does not think alike, and they can get smart enough to determine that lure. They figure out the technique, boom, dead. It's cut off, you have to figure out another technique. So the next technique, in jigging a tube, you could bounce. I'm not sure the exact name for these techniques. I'm giving you what common sense names, basically. But the next one is just bounce, bounce, drop. Always keep your line tight. Always reel in. Bounce, bounce, drop. Keep reeling in your slack. Bounce, bounce, drop. Keep reeling in your slack. Bounce, bounce, drop. Keep reeling in your slack. This is a good spring tactic. It could work now. Bounce, bounce, drop. But I'm using a 1/4 ounce jig. With a 1/8, it's going to dart just like a minnow. Guys, that is deadly, and I'm not even playing. I'm going to go and switch over to a 1/8 soon. But when you use a 1/8 ounce jig head, and that's what I use 100% of the time, you bring that tube jig that's supposed to resemble a crayfish right into a minnow. So it's looking like a crayfish, then dart, minnow, that bass is going to slam it. Trust me guys, I've done the research on that one. Alright, and then a few other, there's this technique I use every now and then, mainly when I'm on new waters, and it's just bounce, reel in, 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 bounce, reel in. Just constantly bringing it in. Now here, alright guys, this is winter fishing for me, alright? I'm going to show you my winter technique. I'm not in the exact area. In my winter technique, I stand on the stump and I fish the current. I let the current take it, I bring it up, just very twitching. I don't know if you can see the movement, but instead of my normal twitches, which would be like this, it's just, I'm dragging up but constantly twitching my rod like that at the same time. That is deadly, guys. I mean, it's basically where you're just getting your tentacles to move, and it's phenomenal. Alright, guys? Alright, now we did catch one crappie about, actually, ooh, that is a lot lighter. Alright guys, we just switched to our 1/8 ounce jig head. Great thing about fishing is you never know what you're going to catch. Yeah, I'm using a tube jig, I'm fishing for bass, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what I'm going to catch. Alright guys, unfortunately we have to end the show. It's a lot colder out and it's starting to get dark. Only able to get one crappie. I mean, in my defense, 2 cold fronts in 2 days isn't going to help my fishing. But the fish are there, so it's my job to figure out a pattern on how to catch these fish. In the next video, I will show you bass, and I'm going to catch them. I'm going to hit a different location, a location I targeted mostly in the spring, and I'm going to see if the fish moved up there yet. I got a feeling they did. But tune in next week, or not even next week, tune in tomorrow, and I'll show you the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and enjoy your October. Halloween's coming.